Колеги, доброго ранку.
Good morning, colleagues. We start our working day, and I invite here the spokesperson for the administration of Ukraine's president on the anti-terrorist operation, Colonel Andriy Lysenko, with the latest from the east of Ukraine. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Over the last 24 hours, the situation in the anti-terrorist operation zone has become somewhat sharper. The intensity of firing from the side of the militants does not fall down. In spite of the Minsk agreements, our positions have been again shelled from banned armaments, 120 millimeter mortars, 122 millimeter and 152 millimeter cannons and tanks. In Mariupol sector, the only clash point is the village of Shirokino, where the enemy is actively using a wide range of armaments, including 152 millimeter cannons that are located next to the village Bezemen. This settlement is on the occupied territory, and it is less than 10 kilometers away from the demarcation line, and all the heavy arms had to be withdrawn from this territory. However, the Ukrainian side has a lot of proof that Minsk agreements are systemically violated by the gunmen. In Donetsk sector, the most tense situation is in the vicinity of Donetsk airport, and they shell our positions next to Avdiivka, Pisk, and Opitne, almost without any interval. The enemy is firing very intensively from heavy arms, including cannons and mortars, and also enemy snipers are working. Clashes continue in the suburbs of Horlivka, first of all next to Mayorsk. More than 20 mines, mortar projectiles fired by the gunmen exploded there. In Luhansk sector, there was a series of exchanges of fire from small firearms in the vicinity of Zolote, Sokilniki, and Tryokhizbenka, and the settlement Stanitsa Luhanska. In this sector, the gunmen have not used heavy armaments. Yesterday, according to the State Border Service, there were 17 flights of drones of the enemy. Over the last 24 hours, as a result of combat actions, 5 Ukrainian military were killed and 12 were wounded. The heaviest losses the anti-terrorist operation forces sustained next to Avdiivka. The Ukrainian armored personnel carrier exploded on a landmine. According to our intelligence, the gunmen are reinforcing their groups on the front line. There's a high intensity of redeployment of vehicles between Luhansk and southern districts of the occupied part of Luhansk region. The illegal armed formations are moving material and technical resources from their bases and depots next to the state border in the city of Krasnodon and Ilovaisk, closer to the front line. We're talking here about Donetsk, Horlivka, Stakhanov, Alchevsk, and Luhansk. The Ukrainian military are every day raising their level of their combat skills on the training grounds of the highly mobile assault troops of the armed forces of Ukraine in Zhytomyr region. The training took part in on the Rivne general military training ground. There's the intensive combat training of mobilized military servicemen goes on, as well as the adjustment of combat units. The military around the clock are mastering their arms and vehicle and machinery and vehicles And the classes are given by instructors who have experience in peacemaking actions and in the anti-terrorist operation zone. The Ukrainian law enforcers, together with the special unit Alpha, have detained a gunman nicknamed Grek, who was part of the bandit formation Somali. He took an active part in attacks against the Ukrainian armed forces units and the law enforcement bodies in the zone of anti-terrorist operation. Also, yesterday, 4 citizens of Russia were arrested for 2 months who are suspected of crimes. 2 of them in February this year were recruiting Ukrainian citizens in order to make them participate in terrorist organizations, and also collected information about the positions of the anti-terrorist operation zone. Another 2 were members of the enemy subversive group and put up a severe resistance when they were detained. The Ukrainian law enforcers are systematically counteracting the uncontrolled turnover of arms and ammunition. During the patrolling of the territory, the Ukrainian policemen in Stanично-Luhansk district next to the Kovsug River found an explosive device that was composed of 2 anti-tank guided missiles and a hand grenade. The policemen have stopped the traffic immediately, and the engineers who have quickly come to the site have defused the dangerous find.
And they discovered the machine gun AK-74-19 cartridges to them, 6 anti-tank grenade launchers, Muha, and also a couple of dozens of grenades. Despite the risk, our rescuers continued to eliminate the ammunition in the east of Ukraine. During the April, Ukrainian deminers discovered and eliminated 1,215 pieces of ammunition on the territory of Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast. These are 256 artillery shells, 107 mines, 206 grenades, 104 pieces of ammunition, and the biggest number of ammunition that did not explode in Donetsk Oblast were discovered in Slavyansky district, in Zaitsevo-Artemivsky district in Lugansk region, in Severodonetsk, Stanitsa Luganska, and Dmitrivka, which is close to Shastia in Volhynia. There was the military patriotic festival, charity festival held to support our defenders. The participants of the festival demonstrated their masterclass on dealing with the weapons, and the kinologist showed the program with the dogs. This was initiated by the formation Samobrona Volyn, self-defense of Volyn. The money raised will be used for the needs of the warriors which are in the ATO zone. The ceremony of awarding the best defenders of Mariupol took place. The Ukrainian warriors received the awards of the commander of the troops of operational commandership South for the defense of Mariupol that were developed as part of the program of charity assistance. The servicemen have finished their term of staying in ATO zone and are going back to the points of their permanent dislocation. Any questions, any clarifications? UCMC, I would like to clarify about the number of killed. The mass media report that there were 6 people killed on Tuesday. Do you include those who were near Orlivka? And they write that there were two of them, that two were near Gorlivka, and they were in the ambush. We have information about four that were killed when the mine exploded, and then one was killed near Gorlivka. Any other questions, any other clarifications? Once you have no more questions, we would like to thank the Colonel. Our working day is over for today. Thank you.